Hello dear students, hope you all are well, and today we are going to start our third experiment. Already we have completed experiment number 1 and 2. So today we will be performing the experiment number 3, that is process of PAM, PPM and PWM, and again we have to reconstruct the original signal from it. And these are the objectives. Observe the variation of amplitude of pulse train in PAM. You have to observe the variation in amplitude. Observe the variation in width of the pulse train in PWM and observe the variation in position of the pulse in PPM. So these observations you have to make based on the message signal. So you have to compare the all signals PAM, PWM, PPM with the message signal, and you have to see the variation of these parameters with respect to the amplitude of the message signal. So this is our objective, and again you have to go for the reconstruction of the message signal from the PAM, PWM, PPM. So if you see, already we have completed PAM experiment, so that we are not going to tell you. You have to perform the experiment by your own. So no one is going to help you for the PAM experiment. Now we'll go to the PWM and PPM experiment. If we see the block diagram of PWM modulator, first you are taking a message signal here. That message signal is a sinusoidal signal, single frequency sine signal we have taken. Then you have to take a ramp signal. Then both the signal will be added using an adder. Then this adder output will be given to a comparator, and this comparator also fed with a DC which is variable. So the output will be your PWM signal. So you can vary the width of the pulse by using the variable DC. You can adjust the DC voltage so that the width of the pulse will vary. So this is the total section of PWM modulator. Now we'll see the block diagram of PPM modulator, and if you see, the PPM signal can be generated from the PWM signal. So if you see, first we have taken message signal, ramp signal, then given to a adder, then adder output is given to the comparator, and the variable DC is given to a comparator. So this output is actually PWM signal. So from this PWM signal we have to generate the PPM signal. So how will generate the PPM? By simply passing this PWM signal through a differentiator. Then the differentiator, what it does, it will generate positions or narrow impulses along the positive and negative edge of the PWM signal. So our aim is to find out or take the negative edge only. So what you can do here, first we have to invert the PWM signal that is fed to a differentiator, and when we are inverting this differentiator output, what we will find, the negative edge will come to positive section and positive edge will come to negative. Then what we have to do here, we need to only take the negative section. So what we have to do here, again pass through a half wave rectifier, so the inverter output will only contain the positive section like this. So only the positive positions are available here and the negative positions are taken out through half wave rectifier. So this output is your PPM signal. Now if you see the PWM and PPM block diagram that we are using in Emona trainer, so you can see there is some difference between the actual block diagram and the block diagram we are using in Emona, but the output will be PWM and PPM. So what we are doing here, we are taking a message signal, then we are taking a variable DC, and we are giving these two signals to adder. So this adder output you are getting here, message plus variable DC. Then there is a comparator. To this comparator, what you are doing, you are giving the ramp signal and this adder output. The ramp signal how we are generating in Emona, you can see, first you have to give a clock, or you have to generate a clock, and that clock will be given to the twin pulse generator. Again that twin pulse output will be given to a diode plus low pass filter, and this output will be your ramp. The final output will be your ramp signal. Then you are comparing this ramp signal and the message signal added with DC. So after comparison you will be getting the PWM signal. So the PWM part is over up to this. Then what we are doing here, in theoretically what we are doing, first we are passing the PWM signal through a differentiator, then inverter, and again half wave rectifier. But here what we are doing, you are passing this PWM signal again through a adder, and this adder also we are giving a variable DC, and if you check, this output of the adder will be a inverted PWM signal. Why it is inverted? That is a question for you. Why it is inverted? You have to check why the signal is inverted. So after that, that inverted PWM signal is given to a twin pulse generator, and that twin pulse generator output is nothing but your PPM signal. So again, for your information, I am telling that this twin pulse generator is used to find the positive clock edge. Suppose you are giving a clock to a twin pulse generator, it will be generating positive clock edges. Negative edges it will not create. So that is the function of twin pulse generator, and we are using, or we are going to use this twin pulse generator frequently in this experiment. I have also tried to experiment, or I have also tried to show you what is the function of twin pulse generator. That also I will be showing you in this video. So now we'll switch to Emona experiment directly. So before beginning the experiment, I am just showing you what is the function of a twin pulse generator. So if you see here, I am now giving a clock. So this clock is available here. If you see 8.3 kilo sample clock is available in the dashboard. So for this clock I am going to apply to the input of the twin pulse generator. Okay, see here. Clear now? Now I will check the output here. Suppose Q2 I will check. I will check the Q2 by connecting it to the channel 2 of the DSO. So now what we will do here, we will compare the sample with the output of the twin pulse generator. So how to compare? Now I am again giving this sample clock to the channel B. So now what you are observing, you can tell me now. So if you see here, we are getting impulse at the positive edge of the clock. If you see here, along every positive edge, you are getting a impulse here. Very narrow pulse you are getting. So that is the main function of the twin pulse generator, which we are going to apply in our experiment. Now we will move to the experiment. So first we need a message signal that we can get from the dashboard here. I am going to take a 2 kilohertz message signal from the yellow button here. So from this section I will be taking the 2 kilohertz message. Again I am telling. So then what I will do, I need a adder where I will be adding message signal and a DC signal. So for generating the DC signal, what you have to do here, you have to go for variable DC and amplifier. If you see here, so this will give you a DC signal. Clear now? So from where you will be taking the DC? From this yellow section you can take the DC signal, which you can vary also. If required, you can vary the DC signal. So then what I need adder. Clear now? I am taking the adder. So to the A I will be connecting DC signal, and to B I will be giving the message signal. Clear now? Now the message signal is added with a DC signal. So now I am increasing the gain of DC and here the sine signal. Okay, so as per the requirement also you can vary the gain. I am giving a small gain here. So this will be the output of the adder GA plus GB. So what you have to do with the adder, you have to give this adder output to a comparator. So before giving to a comparator, we need to generate a ramp signal, as I told you. So how will generate a ramp signal? Simply first we have to go for a twin pulse generator. Clear? So to this twin pulse generator, I have to give a clock signal. I am here giving 8.3 clock. If you see, I am connecting this 8.3 kilohertz clock to the twin pulse generator. So here I will be getting the output Q2. Clear now? So this Q2 I am going to give to a DC plus a low pass filter, which will be a pulsating DC signal, which will act as a ramp signal. It may not be exactly ramp, but it will be equivalent to a ramp signal. So now we'll see how the ramp signal is generated now. So what we'll do here, we'll be going for utility. Clear now? Utility. So in this utility section, if you see, there is a diode plus low pass filter section. Also there is a comparator that we are also going to use it. Clear now? So now what we will do here, I will be giving this Q2 to the diode. Okay, So if you check this diode plus low pass filter output in channel 2, now what I am doing, I am just connecting these to channel 2. So this output will be a pulsating DC signal. At the ramp signal, sorry, I have to compare the ramp signal with the adder output here. So now if you see, I have connect this adder output to the comparator reference. If you see here, again what we will do, I will be connecting this diode output, diode plus low pass filter output to the comparator. Now this comparator output will be your PWM signal. If you see here, I am connecting it to channel B, and if you are getting here, you are getting a variable width pulse signal, which is your PWM signal. So then what you have to do here, you have to compare this PWM signal with the message signal, so that you can see that this width is varying with respect to the amplitude of the message signal. That is your 2 kilohertz message signal. That comparison you have to do here. So what I will do here, now I am disconnecting this. I will disconnect, suppose first one. So here I am connecting the message signal. And if you compare here, when there is a higher amplitude, the width of the pulse is high, and when there is a low amplitude or negative amplitude, if you see, the pulse width is low. That means the width of the pulse is changing with respect to the message signal. So now if you see, the PWM part is completed. Then what you have to do here, you have to simply pass this PWM signal through a low pass filter, so that you can recover your message signal again. So what we'll do here now, again I am disconnecting this message signal. This PWM is already here. Also I am disconnecting this PWM output. So now I will be generating a low pass filter here. So from where we will be getting the low pass filter? Simply, if you see here, tunable low pass filter you can take. Okay. So now what you have to do here, this comparator output, which is your PWM signal, simply connected to the input of the tunable low pass filter. Okay. Now you have to tune the filter as per the message signal. Suppose I will make it 2.5 per 3 kilohertz. This is the cutoff frequency of the low pass filter. Then I have to increase the gain of the low pass filter. So then I will check the output of the low pass filter by connecting it to channel A. So now it is connected. Now if you see, I am getting back my original signal. So how will check it? By checking the signal in frequency domain also. So if I see the frequency domain output, I will vary this. Okay. Now I have to draw a line from 0 frequency to the position of the pulse. If you see, the spectrum output is 2 kilohertz now. That means I have given a message signal and I am getting back the original signal. So also you have to compare these two outputs, message signal and reconstructed output, and find the difference between these two outputs. There must be some difference. So that difference you have to find out and write in your conclusion. So now the PWM part is completed. So then we'll switch to PPM section. In PPM, what we are doing, we are just differentiating the PWM signal, again inverting it, and again passing through a half wave rectifier. So our ultimate aim is that we need to find the position of the pulse at the negative edge of the PWM signal. So here for this, what we have to do, we are not going to use these combinations. We are simply doing some diagram here. If you see here, what we'll do, first we will take adder. Okay. So to this adder, what we'll do, we will be giving a DC signal. Again, I am using a variable DC. So that DC signal output I will be giving to A. Again, the comparator output or PWM signal I am giving to B. So this output will be simply your inverted version of PWM signal. Again, I am telling this output is inverted version of PWM signal. Now see here, I have given the adder and PWM. So I will be connecting the adder output here, channel A of DSO. and again I have to compare the PWM signal with the other output so that both are inverted to each other. But now see where there is no output. The reason is that I have not increased the gain. Now I am going to increase the gain of the adder. So as per the requirement, you have to increase the gain. So when I am increasing the gain, see I am getting a output of the adder. So this output of the adder and this PWM signal, if you see, both are inverted to each other. If I compare here, I can also increase the gain to match with the PWM signal. So now if you see here, both the outputs are inverted to each other. You can clearly see here, both are inverted to each other. Then what I have to do here, this inverted PWM signal I have to give to a twin pulse generator. So why I am giving that, you have to justify. Okay, so I am now going for twin pulse generator here. So this is a twin pulse generator. Again I am using another twin pulse generator. So to this twin pulse generator I will be giving the adder output. Okay, so now I am connecting the adder output to twin pulse generator. So again what we will do here, I will be now disconnecting the adder output here. Okay, so now I am getting the PWM signal. I am taking it to down, and here I should, in channel B I should be getting, channel A I should be getting the PPM signal. So now I will be giving this Q2 output to channel A of DSO. Okay, now if you see, I am able to get the edges at this positive. At this positive edges I am getting the impulsor. If you see, some position I am getting at the positive edge, but actually if you see here, this is the negative edge of the PWM signal because I have inverted it using adder. So at the negative edge I am actually getting, but it is showing positive because here I have inverted it. So this output is your PPM output, if you see. So in the same manner we have generated the PPM signal, but we are not going to use here inverter, differentiator and half wave rectifier. But our ultimate aim was to find the position of the pulse at the negative edge which you are getting it. So this is the PPM experiment. So again you have to pass the signal through a low pass filter. I am using a tunable low pass filter. So I have to pass this signal through the tunable low pass filter. So I will get back my original signal. So now if you see here, I have generated a low pass filter here, and I have set the frequency to nearly 2.5 to 3 kilohertz, which is the cutoff frequency. And you have to increase the gain also. Remember to increase the gain. Then I am connecting the twin pulse output here, Q2, to the tunable low pass filter. Okay, then I have to see the output in channel B. So if you see here, now I am able to get back my original signal which I have given in the input. So that also you have to check using two channels. Means in channel 1 you have to take the message signal, in channel 2 you have to take the demodulated signal. Also you need to compare the PPM with the message signal so that you can know that there is a variation in position when the message amplitude is high or low. Okay, so that also you have to vary and write in your conclusion. So this is the end of the experiment. So hope you understood all the experiments, PAM, PWM, PPM, and PAM already you have completed, so that you have not covered. So PPM, PWM part is covered now. So now you have to go for the experiment. Best of luck for your experiment. Thank you.